they're interested in like its role in the community, especially with United. There's no doubt that like the Munich crash was what made one of the things that made United so global. Because like my old man was saying, they remembered hearing it on the radio and this great tragedy and blah blah blah. And there was a lot of people started supporting them after that, but stuck with it. But it's like, what is community? Is community only local to Manchester? Because Manchester United create communities in the other countries where they live.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not saying that,
but
someone needs to know about Manchester, the city itself.
I don't really care about that. I think they need to know about the club and the history of the club. I think that to me that matters more. And then communities change and evolve all the time, and football is really a good catalyst for that. So I've been to Manchester United events in Mumbai, for example, where Dennis Irwin or something was Wesley Brown goes to Wes Brown goes to Mauritius, stuff like that, and they're community events where all the United fans.
Well, I was saying about my American friends. Thierry Henry went to New York.
To that Arsenal pub.
He played for New York Red Bulls, but then he did a special for Arsenal. So and then they went to that, and so that's good as well.
Yeah. But you've also got, you can't forget, just access. People don't have access to support in the same ways that other people do. So I can remember all I wanted was a Man United shirt. All I wanted was a Man United shirt. And then my mum came home with one. I was just disappointed. I was like, that's not real. I want a real Man United shirt. So I would wear it for as long as I could. But when I got my first real one, I was like, I love this. And even now, I do a thing of, when I buy a shirt, I always get a name on the back. But I just have this thing of, I'll put a name of a player, basically of a legend, a player who's never worn that shirt before. Yeah. So I've got a blue AIG with Cantona on the back. I've got a white shirt with A. Cole on the back. And people asking me, Ashley Cole? You mean never played for Man United? I'm like, no, you don't get it. It's Andy Cole. And then my next shirt, coincidentally, was going to have Solskjaer on the back. As in, I'm just putting legends on the back. You understand? I almost feel like I've missed the train a little bit now that he's the Man United manager. That's not the reason. He was always my next in line to go on the back of the shirt.
So would you only get the retro shirts then? You want to get them?
No. I'm buying new shirts with old players' names on them.
Old players' names.
I did see a few people with a new shirt with Solskjaer this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. But they've got a different reason for doing it now, and that kind of ruins my little pattern that I've been doing. But that's my way of paying homage to Man United.
But I do think football is a bit like religion in a way. People, the church isn't the only place where people experience religion. In the same way, football isn't only experienced in the stadium, sort of.
Yeah.
And
but religious people will try to get to their place of worship.
And every United fan would, if they could, obviously want to go to Old Trafford.
I think the point somewhere so far away.
Because it still matters. It still matters. He's trying it. But no, the point you're making is actually the fundamental one. It's about access. It costs loads of money to go to football regularly. And for me, it's just a decision that I've made. That it's this is what I'm going to spend loads of money. Not loads of money, but it's something in my budget that I've decided to put money to, which I can understand why to other people, including other United fans who love it, be like, no, I'm not going to spend that much money on it, which I can understand.
And even with the religion thing, I know there's plenty of people. We're living in the future, mate. There's plenty of people who just internet church, or my mum's got loads of different religious TV channels that she just sit there and watch.
You're right. My mum watches mass on TV. You're right there. My mum does watch mass on TV. It's the most boring stuff. At least make it. But then it's well, how about you then, Zack? As a Man United fan in London, is that all you got? Have you ever been to Manchester?
Are you asking me that same question? Are you asking me
no, as in have you got anything else?
20 years ago.
And 20 years ago, exactly.
You still haven't been there, but
I watch the games, support the team, and I've had a membership. Well, I had a membership card from when I was at school. So it's the same thing. I was desperate to get the kit, and I was desperate to get the membership card. And
But
I remember
is that
trying to convince my mum to let me
because
go.
though? Because you got so much stick from being from
No, not really. There was this desperation to be there, mate. You know that when I applied to universities, Manchester were one of the universities that I applied to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just didn't do a relevant course. But in my head, it was that I just wanted to be there. And I think I've just kind of, not grown out of it, but not needed, just not needed the same, I've not had the same ambition to get myself there that I used to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, all of the people that I share the season ticket with, my friends that I go to the games with in Europe, they did the same thing. They went to Manchester Uni.
Is it?
Like,
Yeah,
they all applied
exactly.
and tried to get in to make sure they go to games. And like through those networks, that's how they got the season ticket as well. It's not easy to like get a season ticket.
No, I can imagine. Yeah.
And you know, for me, like the reason I'm a United fan, yes, I was asked that all the time by rival fans. It was because my old man was the biggest United fan I've ever known. He never went to Old Trafford. But like he couldn't afford it, and that's the thing. Like I can understand why. Like it depends on what stage, you know. So he didn't come to England till he was like 29 or something like that. Then he had my sister, he had me. He's not going to be spending money at that point on like going, you know, when he's an immigrant, not much money, going to spend his money going to Old Trafford sort of thing. I was able to do it after I finished uni, started working in that, but like, you know, I don't have responsibilities in the same way. You know, and it's one of those things I think about when when I have kids and a family stuff. Will I still be spending all this money going to see United? I don't know.
I remember because there's always like funny reasons why people support their teams. And I heard one on the radio saying they supported Tottenham because their sister really fancied Glenn Hoddle, and they had a poster on the wall, and they were like, "All right, well,
I like that team then."
Yeah, but I remember in our school, it wasn't Zack, but in our school there was someone who said they supported Man United because they were walking down the road and then they saw a Man United bus. As if the team bus would just come and be like, I don't know if he was like, you know, that the team that just won the FA Cup, and then they just took a turning down his road, and he was like, oh, I like that team. But just stuff like that.
Are you sure that he meant the team bus or like an advert on a bus for
Why
Man
would
United?
it be an advert for Man United?
I don't know.
You know, it was just you know.
My sister, when she was a teenager, supported Sheffield Wednesday because she felt sorry for them when they lost those two finals to Arsenal in a very. Remember the cup, the Coca-Cola.
Of course, yeah.
She was like, I feel sorry for them. And she stuck with it. She had the Sheffield Wednesday shirt. She liked Chris Waddle. Yeah.
Wow.
The
reason I supported Arsenal though was because my brother was a Liverpool fan. Yeah. And I started watching football in 1989.
Oh, well, there you go.
And I just wanted to be my brother's rival.
Yeah.
And then so like he supported Liverpool. Their rival was Arsenal. And then it was that last minute goal from Michael Thomas that won. And then, of course, I can't support anyone else after that.
It's almost the same story. My brother was a Liverpool fan, and I wanted to be his rival as well. Yeah, okay. But I went for Man United, who were really rivaling Liverpool. I don't know why you say Arsenal.
No, 1989, Man United were nowhere near.
No, fair enough. But yeah, and that's my also partial claim to fame when people talk about glory hunter this, glory hunter that. I was there before they were doing great, mate. I was there before they were doing great. If you think about it correctly, I might have influenced the greatness.
Maybe. When I was in Newcastle, I went to uni there, and this is going to give away my age there. But I saw Newcastle play Juventus in the Champions League, and I remember going with a load of my friends at uni, and watching the game. And at half time, one of our friends went missing. And we were like, where is he? And we gave him a call, and he was like whispering. I was like, right, yeah, I'm alright, I'm just in the toilet. And then he came back, and we were like, what's wrong with you, man? We were whispering. He was in the toilet, and then all he could hear was proper Newcastle fans going, bloody students, man! This place is full of students. They don't even know about Newcastle. And it was just like, all right. Yeah, and then he gets the call, and he's got a really posh voice. He's like, I'll call you later. So yeah, there's a lot of snobbery going on, and especially Champions League. Obviously, all these what they would see as posh students coming and seeing their glory days. We wouldn't have gone there maybe if it was them in the League Cup against Stockport, but we wanted to see Juventus.
Exactly.
You know?
I remember there was one year where Bristol City came quite close to getting promoted, and all the students who were at Bristol University all started signing up for season tickets because they thought they would get to see Premier League football. And they lost in the playoffs or something like that.
And then they stuck with these season tickets. To do.
One of my favourite memories, it's not really a story, but one of my favourite memories is being in Istanbul, and we had to get a taxi to the ground, and so we were playing Fenerbahce, I think, and so we asked the driver, it was Turkey, he didn't speak much English, but we were like, Fenerbahce? He was like, no, Galatasaray. So then, because they're Fenerbahce's rival, so we were all just trying to Galatasaray with him, and he was really into it, just going down the motorway, and everyone was worried they weren't going to get to the game. Because you literally have to cross the continents, it's from Europe to Asia sort of thing. They're on both sides. Yeah. And we're just driving along, singing Galatasaray, and then we just see some big fat Northern Reds who've decided, because the traffic was so bad, they're gonna leg it to the stadium, and they're literally not on the right continent. And we'll guarantee they didn't make it to the game. They just decided they jumped, because we were having that conversation as well. No, let's just stay in the taxi. Yeah. But these guys were we'll do it, and just jumped out of the taxi. We're just running down the motorway, this 5-lane motorway, thinking they'd make it to the game. Never got there. And then when I got to the stadium, we got separated from 3 of the other lads I was with. So it's just me and this other guy. And we just ended up at the rock, not in the United area to go in, and everyone was a bit sketched out and stuff. And then we were asking the Turkish police, we were showing them our tickets, saying, "Look, Manchester United," and they were just kind of smiling at us, going, "This way." Just kind of pointing, and we were like, "No, they're going to kick you up." Yeah, they're going to. We were like, "No." They were just saying, "Yeah, come this way," and get a kick in, basically, sort of thing.
Really?
Yeah, it was so sketchy. Yeah. And I can't remember, we managed to get in the stadium somehow, but just didn't fall for the bait.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. No, European aways are fun.
Yeah. Okay.
My bottom line on it though is I just think football should be inclusive, not exclusive. And like you said, there's loads of slobbery. And if someone says
it's rivalry, isn't it? When I say that to Zack, it's rivalry, which is like I said at the time, they were doing so well. It was just
anything to pull you down, isn't it?
Yeah, you've never been there, But sure. But then it like you said about your uncle, it proves you're a fan, because then if you stick with them.
Yeah, exactly. To me, that matters a lot more.
Yeah. Stick with it. We didn't win anything for over 10 years, mate. So.
It's still there.
You still turned off the match halfway through.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
But Arsenal ladies, they've been winning trophies, ain't they?
Boom! Alex Scott, legend!
Yeah, United as well.
Alright, so that's been another episode of I've Heard It Both Ways. Round the table, it's been Zack and Hav, joined by Fabien. Yay! Good intro, Fabien. We loved it.
Please come back when you're back in the country, mate.
Exactly. You can get us on our social media outlets. So we're talking at IHIBW. That's on Facebook and Twitter. And if you want to email us, that's start with an at. That's ihibw@gmail.com. All right. See you next time.